Greetings to all my friends at Azura. We're so glad you're joining us today. I'm Pastor Phil. We're coming from St. Paul's United Church of Christ, where we've been sharing stories with you during the last, quite a few months now. Of course, you can tell that if you look around, we're getting into the Christmas season. We have Christmas trees lit, and we have stars on the trees, and it's very pretty. And I'm going to share a story today about a Christmas tree. It's written by Liz Curtis Higgins, and it's illustrated by Nancy Munger, and it's simply called The Pine Tree Parable. So let's see what the Pine Tree Parable might be all about. Ho-ho! Here's a guy you should recognize. The same guy that did the pumpkin parable. Remember that story months ago? Well, there he is again. And now he's growing Christmas trees. And so this is our story today. Every spring, the farmer planted flowers. Every summer, he grew fruit and vegetables. Every fall, he harvested bright orange pumpkins. Remember that from our story from the fall? And every day of every year, the farmer grew the tallest, widest, biggest, greenest, loveliest crop of all. He also grew Christmas trees. I used to grow Christmas trees, so I know a little bit about that. The farmer and his wife began planting seedlings. Seedlings are little trees. When their children were small, and every year the family grew, and so did the little pine trees. The trees were quiet. The children were noisy. But the farmer's wife loved everything that grew on the farm. And here we have a picture. Here he is, just a young man with his first son. And here he is with his wife and his son and a daughter. And here he is, being a little bit older, now with 3 children. And here at the end picture are 5 kids in his family. One chilly November day, the friendly farmer came to sell the pine trees to the neighbors. People bought fine-looking trees, which soon filled many homes with the fragrance of Christmas. Don't you just love that Christmas smell? Ooh, I sure do. But the farmer's wife couldn't bear to part with one remarkable tree. It stood very tall and perfectly straight. Its long branches danced in the winter wind. The farmer's wife hung a tag on the pine tree, not for sale. She added a shiny gold star on top. Now the family could enjoy that tree all of their days, year after year, Christmas after Christmas. The next holiday season brought more neighbors to the farm, and the perfect tree was taller than ever. Here it says, trees and wreaths for sale. And a lot of tree farmers make wreaths and roping, those type of things. That's normal. Porch pots too. When the neighbors asked, ooh, how much for this beautiful tree? The farmer's wife just smiled and shook her head. Oh, sorry. That tree's not for sale. One Christmas Eve, when the farmer's children were children no longer, a family of 3 drove up in a rusty old truck. Their clothes were patched and their faces looked tired. They trudged up and down a row of trees that no one else wanted. The trees had, missing branches or crooked trunks. Those trees were free. They were the only kind of Christmas tree the family could afford. The little girl found her way to the tall pine tree. She stood at the foot of it, looking up through the sweeping branches to the glistening star on top. "Oh my," she sang out. "Can we buy this one?" Her parents were embarrassed. They knew they could never afford that tree. And the farmer's family were also embarrassed because they knew too. But the little girl didn't know the cost. She only knew it was the most wonderful Christmas tree in the whole wide world. "Please," was all she could say. The little girl was so poor, yet so full of hope. What could the farmer's wife say to her? What could she do? The farmer's wife took a deep breath. "I'm sorry," she said. "That tree is not for sale, but we'd like you to have it as a gift." The little girl's parents could not speak a word. What a kind and generous gift. The farmer's wife did not even know them. They were strangers. The farmer smiled at his wife. "Well done." His smile seemed to say, "That gift is good." As the farmer took the saw to the bottom of the trunk, the child could not keep her joy inside. She leaped up and down. "Hooray, hooray, hooray, the tree is ours." The farmer's wife watched her favorite tree as it fell on the snowy ground. Tears shone in her eyes, but she brushed them away like they were snowflakes. Yes, this was a great sacrifice, but it brought even greater joy. Isn't that what Christmas is all about? I love the story. I hope you enjoyed it too, because Christmas is about giving. And sometimes some of those gifts we give do require a little sacrifice on our behalf. Maybe it's just time of baking cookies, or maybe it's financial sacrifice as we buy the gifts, or maybe it's giving something special that we've made or from our hearts, whatever the case may be. I wish you a very Merry Christmas, and I hope that you enjoyed our story today called The Pine Tree Parable. Thanks for joining me. It's always good to see you. Many blessings, and bye for now.